Broken glass. Olivia's heels clicked against the marble foyer as she entered her home, the silence greeting her like an unwelcome guest. 7 years of marriage had taught her to recognize the subtle shifts in the atmosphere, the way emptiness had its own voice. She set down her suitcase, listening. "David?" Her voice echoed through the pristine halls of their custom-built home. No answer. 3 days in Tokyo securing the merger that would cement her position as the youngest partner at Montgomery and Reed. 3 days of missed calls and brief clinical text messages from her husband. Something's wrong. Olivia climbed the curved staircase, her hand trailing along the polished banister. Their bedroom door was slightly ajar, a sliver of fading afternoon light spilling onto the hallway floor. She heard it then, the soft murmur of voices, punctuated by a familiar laugh that didn't belong to David. A laugh she'd heard countless times over brunches and late nights working on presentations. Hannah. Olivia's breath caught in her throat. Time stretched and compressed simultaneously as she pushed open the door. The tableau before her burned into her retinas. David's naked back, Hannah's manicured fingers splayed across his shoulders, their clothes scattered like evidence of a crime scene. "Oh my God," Hannah gasped, scrambling to cover herself with the Egyptian cotton sheets. Sheets Olivia had specially ordered, sheets they'd chosen together during their last vacation to the Amalfi Coast. David turned, his face cycling through shock, guilt, and finally, a terrible resignation. "You're home early," he said, as if commenting on a slight change in dinner plans rather than the demolition of their marriage. Olivia stood perfectly still, her mind cataloging details with brutal precision. Hannah's lipstick on David's neck, her best friend's earrings on her nightstand, David's wedding ring placed neatly beside the lamp, as if respectfully removed before the betrayal. 7 years, Olivia finally whispered. 7 years, and this is how I find out. "Liv, it's not," Hannah began. "Don't." Olivia's voice cut like glass. "You don't get to call me that anymore." She turned to David, who was quickly pulling on his pants, as if clothing could restore his dignity. "How long?" "Olivia, we should talk when we're both calmer." "How long?" David sighed, running his hand through his hair, a gesture she once found endearing. 8 months, 8 months, while she'd been working 80-hour weeks, while Hannah had been coming over for dinner, helping plan David's surprise birthday party, crying on Olivia's shoulder about her own failed relationships. "Get out," Olivia said to Hannah, her voice unnervingly steady. "Get out of my house." After Hannah's rushed, tearful departure, David attempted explanation, but Olivia heard nothing beyond the roaring in her ears. She moved mechanically through the next few days, sleeping in the guest room, functioning on autopilot at work, a porcelain mask hiding the fractures spreading through her foundation. But questions began to surface, inconsistencies in David's stories, missing chunks of time, secretive phone calls that ended abruptly when she entered a room. She hired a private investigator, telling herself it was closure she sought. Within a week, the folder on her desk contained photographs, bank statements, hotel receipts. Hannah wasn't the first. There had been others, a pattern stretching back years, possibly 2 before their marriage. Most damning were the financial records. David had been siphoning money from their joint investments into offshore accounts. He'd leveraged information from Olivia's firm to make trades that bordered on insider manipulation. Hannah, her supposed friend, had facilitated these transactions through her position at the bank. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was methodical, premeditated, cold. "Ms. Montgomery?" Her assistant's voice pulled her from the dark spiral of her thoughts. "Your 3 o'clock is here." Olivia nodded, straightening her spine. "Send them in." That night, she sat alone at their 12-person dining table, documents spread before her like a map of deception. The house that had once felt like a testament to their success now seemed nothing more than an elaborate stage set. She confronted him on a Thursday evening. She'd planned it meticulously, the same way she approached high-stakes negotiations. She laid out the evidence on the kitchen island they'd designed together, watching his face as he realized his carefully constructed reality was collapsing. "You were never supposed to find out," he said finally, looking smaller than she'd ever seen him. "That's your defense? Not that you didn't do it, but that I wasn't supposed to know? You were always so focused on your career, Olivia. Always one more meeting, one more client. Don't you dare make this my fault." Her voice dropped dangerously low. "You chose this. Every lie, every woman, every dollar." His eyes hardened, the mask of contrition slipping. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to destroy you," she said simply, "the same way you destroyed us." The divorce proceedings were swift and brutal. Olivia had transferred her personal assets to secure accounts 3 days after discovering the affair. Her legal team presented evidence of David's financial improprieties to the court. Hannah was implicated, and both faced not just professional disgrace, but potential criminal charges. The corporate world that had celebrated their power couple status now whispered about David's fall from grace. Hannah's banking license was suspended pending investigation, but victory tasted hollow. At night, alone in the house that once represented their shared dreams, Olivia replayed conversations, searching for signs she'd missed. Had she been so consumed with proving herself that she'd failed to see the cracks in her marriage? Did ambition blind her to betrayal? 6 months after the divorce was finalized, Olivia received a text from an unknown number. "We need to talk. Please." Hannah was waiting at the cafe, shoulders hunched, eyes darting nervously. Gone was the confident woman who had once been her closest confidant, replaced by someone hollow-eyed and diminished. "I know I'm the last person you want to see," Hannah began. "Then why am I here?" "Because there's more you don't know." Hannah slid a USB drive across the table. David was laundering money for Marcus Cahill. Olivia's blood ran cold. Marcus Cahill, the venture capitalist whose investment had launched her firm's rise. The man who'd mentored her, who'd been a dinner guest in her home dozens of times. That's absurd. Check the drive. David kept records of everything. Insurance, he called it. Hannah's hands trembled around her cup. "He's threatened me. I think he'll come after you next." "Why tell me now?" "After everything?" Hannah's eyes welled with tears. "Because despite what you think, I did love you. You were my best friend before I let him." She trailed off. "Just be careful, Liv. He's more dangerous than either of us knew." Olivia wanted to dismiss it as manipulation, but something in Hannah's fear felt genuine. That night, the files confirmed Hannah's claims and revealed David's newest target, Olivia's upcoming IPO for Green Tech, their most promising client. A plan formed. If David had insurance, so would she. The confrontation came during the Green Tech launch party. David had somehow secured an invitation, no doubt planning to network with potential victims. He froze when he saw Olivia approaching, champagne flute in hand, wearing the red dress he'd always loved. "You look well," he offered, his own glass raised slightly in greeting. "I know about Cahill," she replied quietly. "And Cahill now knows about you." David's smile faltered. "You're bluffing." "Am I? The SEC has copies of everything. They're very interested in your financial creativity." "You'll go down with me. Your firm, your reputation." "I've already disclosed everything. Full immunity in exchange for testimony." This wasn't completely true, but Olivia had learned from the best how to construct a convincing lie. His eyes narrowed, calculating. This isn't over. Actually, it is. She nodded subtly to someone behind him. Two men in dark suits approached. Mr. Pearson, we'd like you to come with us. As security discreetly escorted a pale-faced David from the event, Olivia caught Hannah's eye across the room. They shared a look of understanding, not forgiveness, but acknowledgement of the damage they'd both survived. Later that night, Olivia stood in her bedroom, removing the diamond earrings David had given her for their 5th anniversary. She placed them in a box with her wedding ring and other remnants of her marriage. The woman in the mirror looked older, wiser, with shadows beneath her eyes, but a new steadiness in her gaze. She'd been broken open, but not destroyed. The pieces were reassembling into someone stronger, someone who could recognize the difference between the appearance of perfection and the messy reality of truth. Her phone buzzed with a text from Hannah. "I'm leaving town. Start fresh. You should too." Olivia didn't reply. Some bridges couldn't be rebuilt. Some betrayals cut too deep. She closed the jewelry box and locked it. Some things were better left in the past. She had board meetings to prepare for, a company to rebuild, and a life that was finally, genuinely her own. As she turned off the lights, she caught sight of a photograph on her dresser. Her and David on their wedding day, smiling at a future they thought they'd share. She placed it face down. Perfect things, she'd learned, were often the most fragile. It was the broken pieces, carefully reassembled, that proved the strongest in the end.
If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications.